Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
And Eddie.
Hello.
But no Kirk.
No Kirk.
No Kirk. It's the first time
It gets
in
a
while.
woo, though. It gets a woo.
Is that a sad woo or a happy
That's a
woo?
very happy woo. I know you know. I didn't tell you in the podcast prep, but I'm just swallowing a sleeping pill as well. It's bank holiday, which means Eddie needs to take a sleeping pill.
Oh, yeah. Work tomorrow. So sleeping pill it is.
Yes. I like that you take that at the start of the recording.
Well, it normally takes like an hour and a half to proper kick in. And our podcasts are
ticking
normally
time bomb.
about 2 hours, so let's keep it tight, boys.
Yes,
That is a
okay,
ticking
right.
time bomb.
Yeah, motoring through then to get there before Eddie passes out on the microphone. We are, of course, going to go through the news and the new releases. What we've been playing section this week is a little sparse, but we have got the Mario movie. And
What we've been watching.
what you've been watching, and a bit of
Nice.
a PGA Tour, haven't
Very
we?
good, Ben.
Yeah, we got the new EA game.
Indeed, which is very topical after the end of the Masters yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and our feature this week is, well, it's a bit of a different one, isn't it? We're looking at sort of drop-in games for families, parents, that type of thing, to take account of the Easter weekend and not everyone having the time we have.
Yeah, and kids are off school for a couple of weeks or something, aren't they? Or another week at least, something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, my mate said to me, he went, I struggle to get on games. When I do, I just jump on and it's only for like an hour. So I was like, we should come up with a feature where we can recommend games that you can jump in and off. Yeah.
And we're doing exactly that.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Exactly that, yeah. Fantastic. Mindlessly derivative from what your friend asked you, but yes, perfect. This will do. For now, should we start with the quick news?
Let's go. First up, Resident Evil 4 Remake. They've added microtransactions.
Oh, of course they have.
So alongside the Mercenaries DLC mode that was just added, microtransactions are added. It's something to do with a weapon upgrade. I was kind of hoping that Kirk would be here to shed light on what this is because I didn't really want to read up on it. Now, Kirk said that he couldn't be on the show like a couple of hours ago, and I'd already written this at this time, so I was kind of hoping he'd jump in. But
I like how he didn't have a reason as well. I love that.
yeah, no, he didn't have a
I
reason.
feel
He just
really
can't be on.
betrayed when I see either Pete or Kirk's little message not going to be on. Give me a reason. At least have the effort to go sick. I don't know. Anything.
I assume he's got copious frames to be.
There you go.
So.
I assumed he was day drinking, but that's kind of you, Ben. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is a bit of a day drinker on bank holidays. Maybe it's that.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure we'll
Right.
find out.
Maybe both.
Okay, well, tune in next week and we'll find out why. The new Mario movie. It what have I written here? Made a record-breaking 296 million over the Easter weekend. That's the second biggest global debut for an animated movie, and I think that beats out Frozen 2. So a fucking huge
What's the
entry.
biggest then?
And
Yeah. Frozen
search
1?
me. Toy Story 4? I don't know.
I knew you wouldn't have looked that up.
No, absolutely not.
That's
Absolutely
poor.
not. It's a quick news, Eddie. You're not supposed to question
Right? Fair enough.
quick news.
I
You've made it
believe
longer.
it's eFootball, actually. Beat it.
Right, okay, with 1 billion downloads.
With a billion pounds.
Well, topically, the Mario movie is on course for a run rate £1 billion or $1 billion return or something like that. So, yeah, it's doing huge numbers, huge return. But we're going to talk about the Mario movie later in the what we've been playing / watching section. So, next one, Summer Games Fest will return on the 8th of June. And Jeff Keighley's next event after that will be Gamescom opening night, and that's on the 22nd of August. So I think the Gamescom one has just been dated, so that's cool.
How
Two
has Jeff
good
Keighley's
events.
calendar made it into our quick news?
Well, I think it's because
I'm
the
not happy about
Gamescom, I think that got a date. It was a story on Eurogamer, so it got in.
I think he said
Somebody's
something
interested.
this week as well on Twitter, didn't he, about E4 being
Three.
cancelled. E3, that's it.
You were thinking eFootball, I thought. I thought you were going to say something. He said something about eFootball this week.
Yeah, being the best game of all time. Yeah, I think he's upset people by saying some shit about E3 being cancelled.
No, I think he was just like hot on the. As soon as E3 was cancelled, he was like,
Yeah, it was within
"Yeah,
like
but Summer
2
Games
minutes or
Fest
something,
is
wasn't it? Yeah.
Summer Games Fest is ongoing. Don't you worry about that." So it's let the dead lie for a little
Read
bit.
the room, Jeff. Read the room.
Yeah. But anyway, both of those events going on, and they've been dated. This week, Quantum Break left Game Pass and Steam, kind of unexpectedly, I think. But it will be back, so if you were chomping at the bit to play that game, it will be back. I think it was licensing issues, so give it a few weeks, I'm sure it will return. Somebody who's not going to return is Phil Harrison. He's left Google following Stadia's demise.
That was good. I was really hoping it wasn't a death story, so that's good. I'm really happy.
Well,
I thought that would be really
would have
bad.
been that would have been an excellent segue, but probably not.
Taste.
Very disrespectful. Yeah.
But
At
excellent.
the deadline.
It would have been an excellent segue though. So
It would have been.
yes, so you'd celebrate it. New and final gameplay trailer dropped for Jedi Survivor. I watched it and it actually looks really good. It looks quality. I had no hype for this game. It's out on the 28th of April.
It is.
I hadn't got hype because of the first game, but seeing that makes me think that, when that game comes out, if it gets killer reviews, I'll be in. Don't worry.
This is the problem with Star Wars games, though, isn't it? It only takes a little bit to make you want to play.
Exactly, because it's Star Wars. You're like, I don't want to not be part of that conversation. But it looks brilliant. It looks really, really good. So we'll see how the reviews pan out for that one. Another game that got a look was 3-minute gameplay trailer for Redfall. That was IGN that showed that off during the week, and you can watch it on YouTube. It didn't go down too well, so it showed a boss fight. I think it's called the Rook, summoning the Rook, something like that. So type that on YouTube. People were very critical of the actual gameplay, saying that the person playing the game was awful. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely didn't show the game off in the best light. It's just a load of running around.
Yeah.
It
was very boring. It was the same enemy all the time. And I've got to admit, my expectations of this game, when we saw whatever that gameplay trailer is, when they went into the loft and the vampire was jumping around, I remember watching that gameplay footage and going, holy shit, this looks incredible. It looks atmospheric, it looks a little bit scary, but very action-orientated. And the more and more I've seen of the game, I've been more and more disappointed. And this tops it for me. I like the whole shooting and then seeing all those numbers just ting, 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 and the sounds. It just... I don't think I'm going to like this game. I'm going to force myself to play it because it's on Game Pass, so it's not exactly, a bank breaker. But, I'm really... the more I see of this game, the more I think I'm really not going to like it.
I think you're on the money in terms of what they've shown, because it does... I don't think this showcases the game very well, and I'm hoping that it's just not representative. And when you're actually playing it, it just feels different. A lot of people have been saying that from what they've seen, it looks like it could do another 6 months to a year in the oven, I mean, I don't know how they've come up with those arbitrary times, but there you go. I mean, I think it graphically looks fine. Good even, because they've gone for that cartoony look, so it kind of...
Yes.
It's easier to look good.
Yeah. You can get away with a lot with that look.
But I'm with you, Eddie. Like that first one, we saw them go through the loft of the vampires, and then it was quite atmospheric. It was very dark, and it was... I mean, it's cartoony, but I liked it.
Yep.
I am still really kind of hyped for this game. I just don't need to see anything more, and I don't think they need to...
I don't want to see any more, because the more I see, the more disappointed I get. So...
But remember, this was IGN showing it off. They also showed off Sonic Frontiers before that came out, and they made that look fucking boring as well, when actually it turned out to be quite a good game. So
maybe it's just IGN. Yeah, maybe it's just IGN.
Yeah, they've got previous, so anyway. But that's the quick news for the week. That's the quick news.
Okay. Good. God, that does ask many questions of IGN. But yes, let's move on to the main news then. And Eddie, this week I think I've got you leading us off.
It's just once again, it's another Activision takeover story. It's just
got to have one in there.
Yeah, you've got to, and I noticed that you two nabbed the interesting stories, so Eddie has to go with the boring one. So it's basically Sony reacting to the CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority, the UK one, because they... let's go through it. So it was last month, the UK CMA softened its stance over the deal passing, as it concluded that Microsoft owning Call of Duty would not result in a substantial lessening of competition in the console market. Sony's responded So there was a lot to be said. I've bullet pointed it so that I don't go read mode for about 50 minutes.
Yep.
So Sony highlighted a list of so-called errors in the CMA's latest modelling on the deal potential's effects. The CMA's model understates the amount of money to be made from highly engaged Call of Duty fans who would make the switch from PlayStation to Xbox if Microsoft limited access to the game. The CMA's study does not take into consideration the fact that once Microsoft owns Activision, it will no longer lose the typical cut of Call of Duty players' revenues taken by games publisher. Sony takes issue with the CMA's expectation that no users with less than 10 hours of gameplay or less than $100 of spending in Call of Duty would likely switch from PlayStation to Xbox if Microsoft limited the access to the game. This, Sony states, is simply pure conjecture. The CMA has not fully considered the ability and incentive for Microsoft to partially degrade access to Call of Duty. Sony argues the CMA had not proven Microsoft could still pull from Call of Duty, I guess that's quite an important one actually, from PlayStation if it wanted to, and that the CMA had not questioned some of the other responses beyond the financial, why Microsoft might profit if it did. Sony concludes that the CMA has understated Microsoft's gains from the deal, as well as the gains to be made from having Call of Duty in Game Pass. Sony also mentioned, was it a couple of weeks ago, we said about Redfall's creative director Harvey Smith saying that Microsoft made it, it was for everyone, and then Microsoft said, no, let's make it Game Pass, Xbox and PC. Basically Sony went on to basically say this outlines Microsoft's strategy and there's no reason why they wouldn't do this to Call of Duty in the near future. Pretty valid argument there. Microsoft did put their own statement from the CMA's reactions. I'm not going to read that, but it basically said, well done. We agree.
Good.
We agree.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, for anyone who is interested, the CMA does have its final decision at the end of the month, 26th of April. So, I know it's another man does job, but to be fair, PlayStation do have some good points in there.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think they do. And that's not because I think any of them aren't justified. I did, by the way, before we do, I think we should go back to the initial quote from Sony where they said that the findings were surprising, unprecedented, and irrational. That's pretty strongly worded, but I think the bigger...
I don't know, it starts nice, doesn't it? Surprising, such a nice one. It's that's almost slight disappointing. Unprecedented is wow, that's never happened. And then irrational is just, it's like they've gone up.
They're just scaling up how much they're annoyed by this.
If there was a fourth word, and I can't repeat it here.
It's just glitched out graphics now because it can't be read. No, I think all they've done is respond to individual parts of it, and I imagine from the CMA's ruling, it's mostly actually even the biggest game in the world doesn't affect the market share that badly when it's 90-10 or whatever it is in Sony's favour at the moment. Yep. I think that's the bit that they're missing. None of their points are wrong. Like all of those, potentially possible. I mean, pure conjecture on the 10 hours of gameplay or less market is a bit of an odd one. Because, well, of course it is. We haven't seen that response anywhere, but it's a decent estimated guess,
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. I think there's been a lot. The commentary on this response from people is the Sony whining position. Oh, Sony are getting embarrassing. Jim Ryan's becoming embarrassing, like whining with the decision or take the loss, all this kind of stuff. I take issue against those people that say that. I mean, we talk a lot about Manda's job. And Jim Ryan has to do that. And people can say, oh, yeah, but he doesn't have to do it like this. Well, he does, actually. Like, he has to make such a song and dance out of it. Sony have to make such a song and dance. Because this ruling, this is their preliminary findings.
Yeah.
The ruling's happening in a couple of weeks. They have to really say something really strong to cause anything to ripple anything. So you have to become the whining. And don't forget that Jim Ryan and Sony and the legal team, and the directors at Sony, they're legally obligated to do this
Yeah.
on behalf of their shareholders.
Yeah.
They have to. And you can argue the toss about whether this is the right way to go about it or not, but I mean, being softly about it isn't going to work. They have to fight fire with fire, so they have to come out and say things like this. And you could disagree on some of these points, you could agree on them. I mean, I think both sides will have perfectly valid arguments, and it's just, and it's just what side of the coin they're going to come down on, and deals are more likely to go through than not, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
well, and I suppose beyond anything, it's not unreasonable to have issues with the deal taking place if you're the competition.
absolutely.
And if it's under review, it's not at all unreasonable to fight your corner as hard as you can. It's also not at all unreasonable if the CMA and everyone else goes, well, unfortunately, it's not a vast material difference. Nothing you're saying is big enough for us to say this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you're talking
exactly.
you're talking antitrust or anti-competitive. Like, they've got to go with it. Unless
Yeah,
there's a very real chance it destroys PlayStation.
And
it
Sony are so far ahead of the game.
Yeah.
They are so far ahead.
That's
of the
kind
game.
of what's crazy about all these arguments, is that Sony are smashing it out the park. Microsoft are way behind. They've made a strategic move that might put them a little bit ahead. The chances that it would even catch them up with PlayStation is small. So how can you have this whole argument when Sony are so far ahead? Is a bit strange to me.
But before this deal, right? Before this was all mentioned, if somebody had said Call of Duty, oh yeah, I would have said Call of Duty probably is the best-selling game. FIFA and Call of Duty, I would assume, would be like the best-selling games. Is that fair?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think that would shake up the world. You know, I'm more excited about all the other IPs that come with this. Obviously, because I play Call of Duty, I play Warzone, etc. But that's free to play anyway. I think they span so much wider, but nothing. They're never talking about the other stuff. They're not talking about the Diablos and the Overwatches and all that stuff like Blizzard are bringing over. And is it a World of Warcraft for Christ's sake?
How dare you?
Candy Crush. Like, they're not talking about World of Warcraft. Like, there's so much there. Like, World of Warcraft is a phenom.
Yeah.
It's an absolute phenom, and that's not being talked about. I just find it almost weird. I know you have to center your argument on something, don't you? You have to center it on something to really be the nucleus. But
well, I suppose it's what's a material difference in consoles, because you think things like Warcraft and Candy Crush are mobile and PC.
yeah, you're right. So they can't really argue against it, I suppose.
so
even though
Sony
that's going to
can't
have
say a
such
word about it.
it's going to have such a huge impact, though, because it just makes Game Pass more appealing. So it makes an Xbox more appealing. So and if they bring World of Warcraft to consoles, I don't know how, because that key binding would be, I'm sure,
would be
fucking nightmare.
insane. You have 80 moves.
Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. If they do that, which I'm almost positive they must be thinking World of Warcraft has to come to console, because that is an untapped market. Like, there are people that do not have PCs, would actively never go and get a PC.
True.
And would go, oh shit, that's the biggest game on the planet. Yeah, let's play that. So
I'd be very
yeah.
interested. I'd be even more happy if they wrapped the subscription into Game Pass.
Oh, I have no doubt, Pete. No, I have no doubt, Pete, that's absolutely going to be a thing. That World of Warcraft will go straight onto PC Game Pass, I would assume.
I bloody hope so. That'd be lovely.
Yeah,
that would make life easier. Well, either way, we can continue to talk about this for ages, except for the fact that this ends soon.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and won't we all be grateful? Right, 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks, everybody. Yeah.
3 more news stories. 3 more news stories, everybody.
You thought that we would speak about Cyberpunk every week and NFTs every week, but here we are, and we don't talk about them anymore, and that's what
that's
happened
true.
here.
I mean,
All news dies.
Yes. And I'm sure Cyberpunk at least will reappear when Phantom Liberty drops.
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
But until then, there was a little bit more PlayStation news this week.
Big news.
Indeed. So, there's a handheld PlayStation being rumoured.
Yes.
PSP. Ben, you had one of them, did you?
Or the Vita.
I had a PS Vita, yeah.
So this is codenamed the Q Lite, and it's the next piece of Sony hardware that aims to be another thing that requires the PlayStation 5.
Yes, it would appear so.
Yeah, they really are tying everything together. So this is from Insider Gaming, and they understand that the Q Lite is not a cloud streaming device, but instead uses remote play from the PlayStation 5, a feature that PlayStation have obviously been pushing the past couple of months, couple of weeks, a little while.
They've done it for a while because obviously you can use the PS Vita for remote play.
Yeah, which is mental when you think about it. So this sports adaptive streaming of up to 1080p and 60 FPS. The new device will require constant connectivity to the internet because obviously everything does now, and most people have stable internet. And for physical features, it looks a lot like a PlayStation 5 controller, according to early prototypes. So that should give you some indication. Didn't you say you hated the PlayStation 5 controller?
Yes, you
I'm
did.
sure.
I don't hate it. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's as good as the Xbox controller. I don't think it's as good as that or the Switch Pro controller. It's my least favorite.
It was
It's
unsurprising, Ben, that you agreed with Kirk about you.
It was unsurprising. Yeah, I always agree with Kurt.
You always do.
There's a lot of evidence for that. I should add, it does have an 8-inch LCD screen at the centre, by the way, so it's a pretty chunky screen in there. But, yeah. It also comes with, obviously, the adaptive triggers for haptic feedback, and will include what you'd expect for a handheld, so volume, control, speakers, audio input jack, all that kind of stuff. And we believe at the moment this is in the QA phase and is scheduled to release before the PlayStation 5 Pro, but after the detachable disc drive PS5, which I think Jeff Grubb said was part of the second phase of PS5. Is that right? Ben, you follow Jeff Grubb, right?
Yes, and this story in particular, this is Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming, and I believe Jeff Grubb has also said he's heard about this, or he thinks this is real. I think this is bollocks, but we'll see.
Okay.
It's one of those where this. So Eddie, your backbone already does this.
Yep.
So your phone already does this. My Steam Deck already does this. This wouldn't theoretically be doing anything new other than having a controller, a PlayStation 5 kind of legit controller built into it. I would say that the app that I use on the Steam Deck to remote play my PlayStation isn't that great, and it cuts out quite a bit. So I would be interested in some other mechanism of doing it, and a bigger screen would be great to do it. What my question on this, and I don't think any of us know the answer, but is there a way that they could legitimately be able to remote play and stream it better than a device like a phone or the Steam Deck app and etc.? Is there a way that it can pick it up and cope with internet connections that drop out and things like that, like momentarily? Like, is there a way that they can handle this just through better technology, their end, understanding the PS5 and how it can connect up? That would be the USP in my mind. Like, can they make remote play better? Because for me, the internet connection is always a limiter, even though I have okay internet. Like 60 meg or something like that. It's fine. Good in a lot of areas. That still has problems consistently all the time being able to remote play or cloud game or whatever.
Yeah.
So is there a way that they can make that more seamless? For example, again, this is I don't know, like Netflix, they smash it, and I reckon one of the reasons they smashed it is because Netflix never drops out, does it? Like, it always copes. It may drop the picture quality down or something. It always copes. It never fucks up. And if they could get something like that happening with a remote play device, then yeah, you are onto something. But this is, again, just tying people into the PS5. It's not a PS Vita 2, supposedly. This would be just a piece of hardware which just allows you to remote play, and that is great. But the backbone does that. Like, Eddie's piece of kit does that already.
Yeah.
Also, how much do you think this is going to cost?
Oh, hundreds, man.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Big money.
PlayStation
When a backbone
5 are putting together a setup which is like $2,000.
Yeah,
Like,
when a backbone is probably like, what, Eddie? Brand new 80
under
quid or something?
100, yeah.
Under
80
100,
quid,
yeah.
I think mine was, yeah. And that was for a, a brand new, nice one, you know.
Yeah, so I don't know where they would place this, but I listen to a number of other kind of gaming podcasts or insiders and stuff like that, and some people that I listen to think that Tom Henderson, maybe Jeff Grubb, have just been fed nonsense here.
Well,
So We'll see.
If not, they're claiming it's out holiday 2024. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a while away, isn't it? That's a hot minute away.
Yeah, it's like a year and a half. We've got a bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot can happen between now and then. A lot can get scrapped.
A lot can get bought out by Microsoft.
A lot can get scrapped, and people claim that it still existed.
Yes.
Because it's so far away. Anyway. Right, moving on. Joseph Staten has left Microsoft. Or is leaving Microsoft, rather. So the former Bungie and 343 Halo developer, who then went back to save Halo Infinite, and eventually got the game shipped, he is now leaving Microsoft entirely. So in January, we did do a news story that said he was leaving 343, but he was moving internally at Microsoft back to, I believe, his previous role as a creative director. But now he's off somewhere else completely, and it's unknown whether this is going to be another studio, or stranger things have happened, and he could end up back at Bungie under PlayStation this time, because now Bungie's owned by PlayStation.
Yeah.
So he could, who knows, stranger things. Or maybe he's starting his own studio, and that would be kind of exciting. So he confirmed on Twitter and said, "Hey folks, I am indeed leaving Microsoft. I'll have more info to share soon, but for now, I'd just like to thank all my Xbox colleagues for all their understanding and support as I embark on a new adventure." So yeah, as I say, I think he's widely regarded as like one of the good ones. So yes. That would be a shame, I would assume. But if he is making a new studio or something, then that would be kind of cool for gamers. Yeah. That would be kind of exciting. So, but.
It does add to the kind of bad taste in the mouth from Halo Infinite, doesn't it? Again, like...
Yeah, because I think he was the guy that made the tough calls. So on the campaign, he would have been the one that said, ship it. Well, I assume he would, and I may have got my timeline wrong on this, but I assume he's the one that said, we're not doing co-op at launch. Yeah. Change the campaign stuff. Because, I know you guys didn't play the campaign, you obviously play the multiplayer or whatever, but the campaign almost feels like stitched together of open world kind of Halo and then corridor based old school Halo. But he probably stitched it together to make it a viable game that worked with what they had. I hear that he put the final, like, tweaked the story, made it kind of fit together, just to make it ship. I mean, we know that game got a hefty year-long delay before it actually got released. And yes, the multiplayer is underwhelming once you've played it for 100 odd hours, which we did. I mean, it sounds so fucking weird to say that. I played the game for 100 hours, but I needed more.
Disappointed.
But yeah, exactly. But it's got Forge mode now, but that's probably too little too late because we haven't gone back to check it out. There is the new Halo multiplayer that's going to come out, supposedly, that is on Unreal Engine 5, I believe. This is the supposed Battle Royale. Now, obviously, he's leaving Microsoft entirely now, but he seemed like the safe pair of hands that would get these things over the line.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. So, yeah.
Maybe he goes back to Bungie, like I say, and then... maybe, because, I'm linking stories here, but maybe PlayStation are going, God, Bungie, you need to step it up. We need to make Destiny 3. Destiny 3 is going to be the new Call of Duty equivalent for us. We're going to make that console exclusive. I know we said we're going to put it on everything, but sorry, it's going to be PlayStation only. Plans change. We lied. And we've got Joseph Staten in, and he's going to help you do it.
I mean, and I'm just thinking of ideas here, Ben. Maybe he is starting a new studio, but with Microsoft funding.
Could be, or PlayStation funding.
Yeah, I mean, easily could be that as well.
Maybe CMA funding. Let's link them all. Why not?
Well, that'd be a Twistline classic, wouldn't it? Out of the shadows. Out of the shadows.
I'm going to allow
New
it.
challenger emerges. Now they know about the market. They're like, oh, maybe we should get in on this video games lark.
Yeah, it'll fund the rest of our regulatory work.
But that would be so good. That would be like some kind of movie script if I want something like that to happen. That would be fucking cool.
Their first game is Tax and Audit Simulator. Oh, this is less fun than we thought.
What's that like? What's that like? Accounting simulator game.
I don't know, Ben, but you own it. Whatever that is, you own.
Well, yeah, I would. It's weird that I would choose to buy a game of my job, but then I find it fun just because it had simulator in the title.
Yeah, all it actually is, you click it, open it, it's just Excel. It's just a blank Excel sheet.
This is accounting simulator.
To be fair, when I was in hospitality management, I used to love my hospitality management games. I used to have hotel managers and all restaurant managers and all those sort of games. So that's quite tragic, isn't it?
Was it just you sitting in a dark room after your shift ended going, see, this is how it's meant to work.
This is how it's meant to do. Nobody shouted at me in this game. People like me.
This isn't real, but I love it.
Look how handsome my character is. He's not overweight.
He's nothing like me, and I love it. He's everything I want to be. Right. Okay. That's the news. I think.
Yeah, and
that's
a little bit extra in a strange way. Yes, but let's move on to the new releases.
All right. Not bad week this week. Got a few. Let's start with
nice setup.
Yeah.
Not a bad week. Got a few.
Well, it's not loads, but it's certainly not a few. It's more than last week. There you go. More than last week. Is that what you want?
There we go.
Brilliant.
Factually correct.
There you go. De-Exit Eternal Matters coming out on PC. Do you think that's Eternal Matters as in like matters as in matter? Or do you think it's matters like, eternal really does matter?
Ooh.
That's a horrible way of phrasing it, but the latter option.
I reckon it's an interpretation one.
Okay, there you go. Coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's April 14th. Embark onto a surrealistic afterlife journey to discover the secrets of the broken and mysterious plane of memory in this atmospheric light adventure with a hint of stealth. All of that was one sentence. And it was such a sentence with so many letters that there's so much saliva in my mouth.
Right.
There you go. Just
I could hear that.
You could hear it.
Yeah.
Now I'm speaking clearly. It's fine. Dive into this deep, reflexive experience, meet its inhabitants, and save the day. It's a third-person story game with puzzles, stealth, and platforming. It's like a weird, pixelated art style, but actually looks quite nice.
Would you say it's like a fluid Minecraft kind of look?
Oh, you know what, Ben? I wanted to say Minecraft aesthetics, but obviously it's way more detailed than Minecraft.
Yes,
isn't
that's
it?
what I mean. That's what I meant by the fluidity of like the movements and the actual environments look great. It's just the characters got this Minecraft kind of vibe.
Yeah, I mean, even the environments have a bit of a Minecrafty vibe, but it's like Lovecrafty and dark Minecraft as well.
Yes,
Which
yes.
kind of adds a cool... it looks good. Basically, it looks good.
Yeah.
That's all I
assume you guys watched the trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer did a fucking fantastic job on this game. Like, it looked brilliant. It sounded good. The music was like, oh, fuck, this is... Oh, it's all going on in this game. Saving the world, fucking hell. This is...
Yeah.
I mean, they gave it to the trailer making house or whatever and fucking smashed it.
Sorry. The only thing I don't like is what is the main character? It's like...
It's a skeleton.
Is it? It's a pixelated skeleton. It's weird. I don't like it. I just couldn't have made a human. I don't know.
It's a human skeleton. Yeah. It looks very good for what it is.
Yeah, I think it looks okay. Yeah. Not mad at it.
Okay, that dumbed it down a little bit.
That was a slope at the end there. All right.
There you go. Next one.
It's not gonna be his game of the week, clearly.
Well, could be.
Spoilers.
It's not a great week. Mega Man Battle Network. Yeah, I know. I'm taking a roller coaster. Legacy Collection coming out on PC, PlayStation, Switch, April 14th. Developed and published by Capcom as a spin-off of the Mega Man series. It's an old cartoon action RPGs. No, come on, Eddie. Yeah, I've never played any of them. Have you guys?
No.
I don't know if I played one, but I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested in Mega Man. There are people that are, absolutely, and if you are, then we're just letting you know this exists.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Yeah,
I'm sure they knew before us, but yes.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're into it, you probably already know.
Yeah.
yes, yeah. They're one of those few people.
And if you don't know about it, you're welcome.
No. Next one, Suffer the Night. I was going to say Surfer the Night. That would have been wrong. Coming out on PC April 17th. The envelope is just the beginning. Burn it. Destroy it. Pete, get your fucking cursor out so I can read the thing. It just says Peter. Don't play his game. When you see the pale man, it's already too late. Suffer the Night is a first-person survival horror experience. You can play Chapter 1 for free right now on Steam. The gameplay does actually look quite good. It looks quite scary and quite creepy scary, which always puts the jeepers up in me. I'll never play it, but because I'm not a horror enthusiast, but I think this could be an okay game for those horror enthusiasts. Either of you think this looks alright?
Looks like this will be played by streamers.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what, Ben? I actually enjoy watching streamers play it because I don't get as scared. I think it's because I'm not in control. So therefore it's like,
absolutely.
I'm just watching a movie, you know?
Looks like a perfect streamer game for that. Because, it's almost got the vibe and look of... You definitely know it's a PC game. Anybody that knows of these kind of like second-tier horror games on PC or second or third tier... It's got exactly that vibe. It looks all right graphically, but that's exactly what it is. But it's almost like the Slender Man games type thing. Like it's got that kind of feel to it. Chapter 1 is free, so that's good. But I reckon that if you search for this on Twitch when it comes out, I think you're going to get a lot of streamers that like doing horror games on that.
Yeah,
it strikes me as a game that back in the day PewDiePie would have played.
and I would have watched him play it. So
absolutely, yeah. You know, he's now got an infinite stream on Twitch. It basically just plays his YouTube videos constantly. So you can just tune in and just watch his YouTube videos continuously from years gone by.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I do watch all this.
Very good.
I still watch all his new content, but he's changed, man. He's a changed man.
Yeah, he's now just him.
He's literally just documenting his life now, isn't it? It's not like, watch him play games and stuff. It's literally just him.
Occasionally he plays games.
Yeah.
Occasionally he does, but he's also just like a normal guy now. Whereas before he was always doing his character.
Yes,
to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, just look how much his voice has done. I mean, hang on, we're getting deep on PewDiePie here. I don't know why.
I know, I'm not a fan of this, but I'll let you
It's such a weird term, and it's talking about the developments of PewDiePie. Never mind, let's move on to...
He's got an infinite stream, though, so...
All right, man. All right. Fucking hell. His dog died recently as well.
Jesus.
There you go.
Did he?
Come on.
I think so. I'm sure I saw the thumbnail. Obviously, I didn't click on it because I didn't want to feel sad as shit. But
the little pug.
Yeah, I think it's the one-eyed one. I assume because that was old as shit.
Okay, well we don't know for sure, so let's move on.
We're really going down a PewDiePie rabbit hole, right?
Yes.
Disney Speedstorm coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, April 18th. I bet PewDiePie would like to play this game. Welcome to Disney Speedstorm. Drift into the ultimate hero-based combat racing game set on high-speed circuits inspired by Disney and Pixar worlds. Master each character's unique skills and claim victory in this thrilling arcade racing experience from the creators of the Asphalt series. It's another car...
Oh, yeah, Maya died.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Did die.
Finish it off.
Was I right? Yeah. I've got to admit, as soon as I said it, I went, no, if I'm wrong, then that's quite a bad story that I've just said.
No, it's true. We'll move on.
Oh, that's sad. I think he did some sort of video, and I just didn't want to watch it because that would have made me really sad.
Oh, dear.
Are you two seriously doing this? We're literally live on a show. Come on.
I know,
Come on.
it's so
Disney
weird.
Disney
Speedstorm.
Speedstorm.
What is
baby.
going on?
Speedstorm. It's another karting game. Obviously with your Disney characters and whatnot. I don't give a dump about these games. But the one thing I will say is I think the visuals actually look quite good, don't they?
They do, yeah. Yeah.
There's something classic like Mario Kart about it as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
In the
I mean,
visuals.
they've gone down that route, but I'm just impressed that because they could have really phoned in the graphics, but yeah, it's all right.
I think there is a big thing here. I believe it's free to play.
Well.
That's a big comment.
I think on Google, when I looked at it earlier, it said free to play, and I assumed they followed through with that. So, on the basis that it is free to play, that would be a great move because obviously Mario Kart is king, and there's all these other kart races that come out, and I don't think any of them are really that well known or that well received. So,
I would not be surprised if it is because there is in-game currency called tokens and a golden pass of some kind.
right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it's free to start playing, but then lots
Battle
of
Pass led.
stuff is locked behind. Yeah,
Yeah,
battle
that
pass
would-
or tokens.
That would check out for sure.
Gameloft has confirmed, and this is 28th of March, so a couple of weeks ago, that Disney Speedstorm is designed as a free-to-play title. So it's designed, so I assume, yes, it will be.
There we go.
Yeah, so, and it looks great, like, look-wise, so if it plays well, then it's genuinely a free-to-play alternative. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Not mad.
Yeah.
Not mad. And I'm normally mad at those kind of games, so there you go. Next one, God of Rock, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, April 18th. The God of Rock has gathered... Yeah, that was a glitch there. Gathered the universe's greatest musicians to clash for musical supremacy. Battle to the beat by hitting notes in rhythm and unleash harmonic attacks against opponents in this competitive rhythm fighting game hybrid. So, that sounds confusing. It's a fighting game. So like your Mortal Kombat or your Tekken where it's one person on one side and you're fighting. But the combat it's like Guitar Hero or your Beat Sabers where you need to hit the note at the right time to rhythm, and if you do it, it'll hit your enemy. So, the more, rhythm, the more hits you have maybe in a row as well, the more damage you do to your opponent. It's all about killing the person, I think it's a cool concept. I have put in my notes 4-5 minutes. I think it'll be.
Okay.
I think it'll be really fun for like I don't know, the first couple nights playing it. I think it will get very old very quickly, but I don't know. It's nice that I guess that they're trying new things.
I just think, what are we doing here?
This is another one though, Ben, that I could see streamers playing. Because do you remember Beat Saber?
Oh god,
Eddie and I played it at
oh
Christmas.
yes, we had a
You
good
did,
time.
and how popular that was for an insanely long time.
Yeah, but
I could
that's...
see it. If the music's good enough, I could see it being something they do. If the music's good enough.
Yeah, well, this exists, so that's all I'll say about that.
Ben is upset by that. Right, probably the big one of the week. Minecraft Legends, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes and Switch, April 18th. Discover the mysteries of Minecraft Legends, a new action strategy game. Explore a gentle land of rich resources and lush biomes on the brink of destruction. The ravaging piglins, that's not what they're called, have arrived, and it's up to you to inspire your allies and lead them in strategic battles to save the overworld. We saw this somewhere.
Xbox event.
Is that it?
Yeah. It's the recent Xbox event where they showed like 5 games, and this is this is kicking off their first party kind of releases for the year, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it's in the Minecraft world. So obviously it looks quite the same, a little bit more polished. But it's third person. It's online against other players, as we learned in this event. It's all about defeating the enemy base. Be it by building up your own kind of powerful base if you're that kind of defensive orientated, or by like rushing the enemy bases. There is like recruiting mobs and stuff. I think that will play a big part of the game. So yeah, there's some strategy. It's in the Minecraft world. It'll do well. I know that we said when we saw it, it's difficult to get excited. I love Minecraft. I've probably thrown 1,000 hours into Minecraft. But this is a very different game.
Everything rounds up to 1,000 hours for you, doesn't it?
You know why? Because I was going to say a couple, but then I don't want it to give it the respect that RimWorld got. So, and RimWorld I've only played 2,200 hours, so only. Only. And I don't want Minecraft to think that it's on RimWorld's level, so I put 1,000 there. Yeah. But it is a game that I play for months on end, and I've probably done that like 8 times in my life until my girlfriend finds out that I'm playing it.
And calls you a child.
Yes, and calls me a child and says how her nephews play it and they're like 4, and then I get sad, and then I play something manly like FIFA or Call of Duty.
Right. Yeah, and even you're not that interested in this game.
Yes, exactly. There, obviously, Minecraft is very much targeted to children, so maybe the children. But as we discussed recently, that children don't usually go for the strategy type games.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting if this does well or not.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see numbers on this.
I'm betting it is going for the main Minecraft fan base.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be,
yeah,
surely.
They're cannibalising themselves with just making it almost an updated version of the game, but we'll see.
But I guess I guess they've been tactical there, Pete, because it is very, very different. You know, this is it's completely. It's almost a fighting game.
But it's almost sort of, I don't mean updating. I mean sort of modernising, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like changing the loop to what people like now.
Yeah, maybe it is that branching off anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the Minecraft boardroom went, Fortnite's doing well. What can we do there? Oh, I guess in the Minecraft world we could fight each other. There you go, done.
You never know. It could be something like, because this is owned by Microsoft. They might be looking more towards strategy games going forwards, and they have a lot of strategy games at Game Pass. They have Age of Empires kind of games coming out and things like that. Maybe they're thinking they've got a huge audience there in Minecraft. People love Minecraft. They got all over the world. They got this massive audience. By trying to bring it over into another genre where they also have a multitude of games, maybe they see there's some kind of crossover in bleeding people off to play some of their other games. I don't know. Maybe there's something in that. Maybe they think the Minecraft community that's grown up with Minecraft is just getting older, and they are trying to move towards games that gamers of the new age group kind of move into, like you were saying, Pete. Because you would think this is an odd hybrid for the Minecraft to move into strategy, like a action strategy, small games against each other. I think it is a bit of a shift, and because you get people like us that I won't even try this. Because the learning curve will be massive for me, I'm sure.
Do you know what upsets me that will also cement that, Ben? I obviously got Minecraft when it was free, and I don't think I've ever paid any money towards Minecraft, so I see it very much as one of those brilliant free-to-play games. This is coming out at £35.
I actually bought Minecraft back in the day when it was 20 quid.
Oh, wow.
OG, baby.
Oof. Money. So yeah, £35 is a lot of money for a game that you're not sure about. I guess
it's on Game Pass though. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah. So. Okay. I don't know. I think that's a lot of money for something. I think maybe they've gone, this is going to sell with our hardcore fan base, so let's charge a lot of money.
And on the Xbox, it's on Game Pass. But yeah, like you say, because Minecraft is across all the consoles and it's so huge, they're going to make a fortune just on the other consoles alone, paying the 35 quid, aren't they? It's win-win for them. And this is an example, and this is what Microsoft is saying about Call of Duty, why they don't want to take it off other consoles, because they earn a fortune. Minecraft, this game will earn them a fortune through those other consoles, as well as it coming to Game Pass. It's perfect for them, isn't it?
True.
I assume it's going to be on PC Game Pass, isn't it?
PC Game Pass and console Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah.
That disappoints you, Eddie?
Yes, it does, Ben, because it means I might have to play this now.
Right. Shit.
Look forward to your review.
Look forward to you talking about it.
I don't look forward to it. It's another one. I've got like 8 games now that I need to play, but fine. This has been added. Next one. A game that definitely won't be on that list. Puzzle Quest 3 coming out on PlayStation, Xboxes, April 18th. It's a Bejeweled Blitz or Candy Crush. Candy Crust? I like that game. Candy Crush with a story. I think that's the best way I could describe it.
That's a great description.
There's 2 before it, Ben.
Yeah,
So-
it must be good.
Yeah.
It must be good.
I tell you what, some people fucking love this game because it is exactly what you've described, like a Bejeweled Candy Crush type thing. Like you fight. That's how you battle, isn't it? That's how you battle, like by playing this little mini game. And it just, but it is actually like an adventure game or something, isn't it? So I imagine that all these people that play Candy Crush just like all the fucking time, this could be a transition onto console gaming.
That's a very positive
Perhaps.
way to look at it. But
Talking about very
it's a
positive.
terrible name that like really like the creativity in the name of Puzzle Quest 3 is poor.
look, they're just trading on Puzzle Quest 1 and 2, Ben. All right?
They made mistakes there, and they continue to make them now. Puzzle Quest. They're riding off the coattails or whatever. Puzzle Quest 1 and 2. Yeah.
The reviews on Steam are mixed, and when I was looking earlier, I was like, "Ooh, I wonder why." The first down thumb just read, "Look at how they massacred my boy." So yeah, people aren't overly happy with it. Apparently, there's loads of stuff that like are hidden behind paywalls and stuff. So
Painful. I do think it's under a different developer from the first 2 as well. So
Changes everything. Changes everything.
That's it. They bought the name. But
That's it. I'm not buying it.
there you go. I'm not buying either.
reasoning.
Yep, I'm just like the Bayonetta games. I am putting my foot down, and I'm not going to buy it now.
Right.
There you
Pete's
go.
the only one in.
I was. Never
Pete, I'm looking forward to your
Pete's
review
out.
next week.
Pete's out. Only Pete's out.
Right.
Kirk's in.
Next one, Horizon. That can be Kirk's punishment for not being on. Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores DLC coming out on PlayStations, April 19th. This expansion brings alloy wheels to the Burning Shores, a volcanic archipelago formed from the ruins of Los Angeles, I was going to say Las Vegas, where she pursues a sinister threat in the form of an awakening metal devil. It's got new characters and experiences in a stunning yet hazardous new area. There's a new machine. This beast is capable of flying the skies, much like the Sunwing, but also diving and swimming in water. Apparently, Ben, I don't know if you can confirm this was a big problem for people in Horizon Forbidden West. Apparently, swimming underwater was a big problem. But to enter the Burning Shores, you must complete the main quest. That's pretty cool. Ben, I'm coming to you. Come on, give me something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I thought Forbidden West was okay, but a lot of people actually fucking love that game, and so it's great that it's getting a DLC because people love the game. And a lot of people are really, really hyped for this, and it's probably, it's probably the, I want to say biggest game out this week, but it is a DLC. But it's probably the biggest thing out this week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. The artwork for it looks fantastic as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And like having the Hollywood signs and the Capitol Records building in the game is a very cool thing as well.
Oh, it's a great looking game as well. Like, it's wonderful. If you love this, I mean, I get quite bored of Horizon games, I think. Like, it's quite repetitive for me, it feels. And the story didn't necessarily hold me, but, and climbing, Jesus. But it is a very accomplished, there's no doubt about it. It's one of the premier games and experiences on the PS5, PS4. So, great that it's getting a DLC. I'm sure there's loads of people who fucking can't wait for this.
Lovely. Right, moving on to our last one. Survival, Fountain of Youth, coming out on PC April 19th. Survival Fountain of Youth is a challenging single-player open-world survival game set on the Caribbean islands. Survival is a shipwrecked 16th century explorer, craft tools and shelter, and uncover the secrets of both an ancient civilization and your own fate. Did they need to put survival in their name? Could they have not just left it? Because it's a survival game. I don't know.
Calling it the Fountain of Youth probably doesn't give the best.
Yeah, there's probably IP issues on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, aren't we all discovering our own fate every minute of every day?
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, it's kind of. No, it's kind of like an absolutism. It's kind of.
Yeah, you're already doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, all the blurbs that we read
Yeah.
are fairly poor, so.
Yes. Yeah, I've never heard a good one. Wait. Didn't one last week, was it a rat-like? No, what was it? It was like a roguelike.
Oh,
it was
yes.
with rats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
that was...
I think that one was good.
That was incredible. That was the best day of my life.
Was that like a Ratroidvania or something?
Ratroidvania! Oh.
That's top drawer. You won't find that in the top drawer. You find it above it.
Well done.
It's out on the countertop. All right.
There you go. Anyway, back to this game. It's another open world crafting survival game. I'm getting Conan vibes, probably because Conan's start in a hot area, and this looks like it's in a hot area. I do like the travelling the seas that you do. It looks quite cool, and it does have 15 plus islands to go to, all with their own like unique stories and like places to explore and find new story arcs and stuff like that. So it's a packed market, so you never know with these games. And when I mean you never know, I mean it's going to fail. But
Eddie, I was going to say this because you are a big fan of these games.
yes, absolutely.
You love survival games.
Love them.
It's how fucking difficult is it to stand out, get noticed, and to even look at this? Because I look at this game and I think, wow, this is pretty good for a survival game. But they all look like this. They all look the same. They all have a slight USP. Like, what was that one that came out? The Forest 2 or something came out recently.
Yeah,
and everyone's saying that's amazing and it's the most wish-listed game. How do people know it's good? How do people know? Like, it's coming out in early access, but it was so fucking pre-wish listed and everything. I look at this and I think this looks really good. Like the stuff on the sea that like it seems intriguing, and the trailers look good and all that kind of stuff. How would you know? Like, you have to rely on other people buying the game, spending their hard-earned money to give you reviews on Steam, because the market is just ridiculous, and they all look the same.
I feel like all of them these days need their own arc. They need their own thing. I think these guys are banging the drum of, the exploring on the seas and like the different islands and stuff, which is fine. But it's like all these games. I think you need a hook. Like the ones that in my head that are really, really good is Empyrean, but that's only because there's such detail with like shipbuilding and stuff. And of course, Ark. Played 1,000 hours, some might say, of Ark. So, but of course that's got dinosaurs in it, so that's a fucking good hook.
This one does seem to tie into like the Mesoamerican ruins and stuff like that, which is a bit Tomb Raider-y as well, if you know what I mean. Which could be a cool like hook for it.
Yeah.
But
Good point. And maybe if you're interested in that kind of history and stuff, then maybe that might be an interesting thing to you.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's something a little bit different. The one thing that immediately put me off with this one is you just, like, 2 of the videos show you being attacked by hawks.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that,
a hawk's like 4 kilograms. Why in the hell is it going after a human? There's very few scenarios where they go, oh, that's prey, something I can't even lift.
Smells blood, baby.
It smells with fear. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It knows you're scared in this survival game. It just goes for you.
I just think with these games, like, you could have all the recipe of this being a good mechanic, good crafting mechanics like that, but Eddie, you mentioned a hook. It needs a hook to be fun, like, and you just don't get that from any of these trailers. Not for this game, for all of them. You don't know what that little hook is.
Yeah.
So I find this is probably the hardest genre of games for me to, if I just watch a selection of trailers, for me to know which is a good game.
You know what also upsets me with these things? I mean, you hit the nail on the head that like a lot of these games, it's all about the grind, and you need a reason to grind. I think we said this with your ship game last week, Ben. Was it the other week?
Yeah.
You need a reason to grind. And you know what I don't like recently, and I guess this is the way the market's going though, is all these survival games, they rely on multiplayer. Because to be fair, if you play these survival games in multiplayer, it can be fun. Look at us with Valheim. But I feel like you shouldn't go down that route. You should try and make an entertaining game for a single player. But
yeah, almost feels like it can't be played single player half the time.
Yes.
But this is a single player game. It has it in the blurb. Single player open world game, which is a USP, I suppose, in that respect.
Okay.
Maybe now. I'm guessing it's not your game of the week, though, Eddie.
I mean, it's close. It's either this or the one that I'm going to choose, and you're going to be disgusted. I'm actually going to choose Minecraft Legends.
Wow.
Hear me out, because Minecraft has done a lot for me. It's done a lot for millions of people. And I'm not mad that they've tried to branch out. So I'm going to choose it as my game of the week.
And you're going to have to play it.
I'm pre-installed it. So I mean, what else was it going to be, guys? Like fucking Disney Speedstorm? Like Mega Man?
Puzzle Quest 3.
Puzzle Quest 3. I like the second one so much that I've got to go for it.
No, but it's made by a different developer, so.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Else it would have got my pick of the week.
Else it would have got it.
But unfortunately, it's Minecraft Legends.
Okay.
Fantastic. And that takes us on to what we've been playing, which I suppose we can start by talking about the fact that we got back into Rocket League, can't we?
We did.
Rocket League drinking Friday night. Yeah, that was good.
It was surprisingly fun. When I installed it and I opened it up again, I thought, I've gone backwards in life. But actually, it's really fun, wasn't
it? Yes, it's a very fun game.
Fun. Yeah,
I've gone backwards in life. I mean, that's a very strong way to put it about a computer game.
It's how it felt, Pete.
About playing with your friends. How many were there? Were there 7 of us? 6 of us? That was pretty.
There were 6 actually. We had even teams for most of the night.
Yes, that was pretty fun. Yeah, and to our listeners, we do a bit of drinking. So like if you mess up, or if you assist, or if you score, you have to nominate fingers and stuff. Kirk was very drunk by the end of it.
Oh yeah. Kirk was seeing flames.
He was falling all over the place. He dropped his glass on the floor, didn't he? And it spilled everywhere. His missus is going to be furious with him.
What was his celebration when I, on his team, scored a goal that saved the match? Wasn't it, yes, Pete, you bitch, I fucking love you?
Yeah, that's classic. Yeah. He always denies it, but classic toxic Kirk. Yeah, he's so... Or like when he boomed me once after trying for like 4 hours, and you go, yeah, you fucking dickhead. All right, Kirk, calm down. Why are you so aggressive?
Yes, but I suppose the key message for this is that, 1, Ben, you enjoyed it more than you thought you were going to. 2,
correct,
I forgot that Rocket League is actually quite complex. Like, it's not the easiest
skill
game.
level. Yeah. The skill level in Rocket League is top. Yeah. Would you remember when we were at EGX or whatever, and we watched that Rocket League tournament, and they were like quality, like they were just like they were literally flying.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah. That's it. If you touch the ground in Rocket League, you're not good enough.
Yeah, they were amazing. They were so good.
Yeah. And Eddie, once again, you are the only one of us who plays it regularly, I think. Maybe Kirk.
Kirk plays it regularly.
Yeah, but the difference in quality is staggering from people who play this game a lot and those who just dip in and out.
Oh, yeah, Christ, yeah.
Kirk, when he started the night by going, I think I'm as good as you now, Eddie. Oh, that's why I had to absolutely trample him all evening. I had to. I'm not letting him get away with that. No,
you do like protecting your ego, but I can't blame you for that. So, yeah.
Absolutely, it's right. I don't mind if someone doesn't say that I'm good. It's when someone goes like, "Oh, I think I'm as good as you." Right? No, sorry, I'm absolutely trampling.
No, reject.
Like my girlfriend on the weekend, we played like 6 games of pool. She won 2 of them by me potting the black twice, and then she went, "Oh, that's 2." I went, the fuck are you talking about? It's 4-2. And then she was, no, it's not. And we have 1 game left. I fucking trampled her. Absolutely. I was like, there's no way I'm letting you get away with thinking you're going to draw with me. She was crying.
She didn't put a ball.
She didn't. No, I 7-balled the bitch. But, no, I'm joking. Emma, please don't hurt me.
Kirk is definitely the only toxic personality. Yes. Good. Dear Lord. That took a different turn. Anyway, it was very good fun. I suppose it's a good reminder that a good multiplayer game is a diamond for socializing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a good multiplayer game with your mates. If you don't game with your mates very often, like, it's almost like a breath of fresh air when you do. Like, we've been playing less Warzone these days, but when we do have a Warzone night, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
like,
good fun.
We're, like Jack and Potts, we played last week as well. We just jumped on, and it's fantastic. We haven't done it for a few weeks. It's great. Gaming with your mates it hits different.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Wonderful. And from there, I suppose we should talk about what we've been watching, shouldn't we, Ben?
What we've been watching. Well, I saw the Mario movie. So
yes, you were one of those 300 million, whatever it was.
Yes, one of those adding to the numbers. No spoilers, obviously. Do not worry if you are booked in to see it or you're going to see it sometime soon. I just thought I'd make a few points about it. Remember there's the controversy about Chris Pratt doing Mario and the whole, like, his voice isn't very good. He's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
like,
of course
because
he's a professional actor.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that point. He's a professional actor. Like, that literally his job. So it was going to be fine. But yeah, it's actually quite good. The voice acting, I think, is exceptional. Jack Black as Bowser is awesome. It's like so personality led. Bowser sings in it, and just like Jack Black, it's just him, like, coming through as Bowser. It really takes Bowser to another level there. So that's fantastic. So much nostalgia in the film. A lot of callbacks, deep callbacks to Mario stuff. Really, really going into the source material. Anything you can think of, they've kind of worked it in. Anything you go like, wow, that couldn't be in the film. Obviously, power-ups can't be in the film. Yeah, they're all there. They're all. It's just. It's all there. It's how they've managed to incorporate that is fantastic. Almost partially to the detriment of the film, in my opinion, because they focus so heavily on that. It is funny in parts, but I do think it's one really for the fans. I'm not sure who this draws in, who isn't a fan. My girlfriend wasn't really a fan of this film, and afterwards was just like, I was kind of waiting for it to end. Which is not what you say about the really good kids films. Like, you watch Nemo for the first time, or you watch Toy Story, or Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever.
Yeah,
they are quality films, aren't they? Like, or Madagascar and all this kind of stuff. There's something in for the adults on those as well. But this film seemed to lack a little bit in the story, and I suppose maybe that is very, very closely related to the source material, because that has no story either. No real story. So, yeah, I don't know what about for whether it would convert anybody who's a non-fan, but I think it did a fine job. It has received quite a bit of criticism. Hasn't got the best reviews at all. But the money is rolling in. Yeah. The money's rolling in. Yeah. I enjoyed the film. I'm glad that I watched it. I was always going to watch it. I thought it was good. One point is just that I do think it was missing some kind of charm element that those films, like I mentioned, like Finding Nemo or Toy Story, they have something about them. They've got something behind it. Like, this seemed to have all the components, but there was something just a little bit missing for me personally. But for other people, they absolutely love it. And I thought it was a fine film. This does highlight to me that Nintendo might want to look into bringing some other of their franchises into the cinema. Now, I'm not saying they'd all translate and they'd all work and they'd all necessarily be good films, but considering that Mario was sold so well, that this is absolutely huge. Nintendo did a Zelda or a Metroid or something like that, then that could propel those franchises to new levels and would make them a fucking fortune. So this was a great tester, and I'm sure Nintendo will do more with this.
Okay.
I mean, they've all got experience. They've got Pokemon, for fuck's sake. They've made about 1,000 Pokemon films, so I suppose they know what they're doing.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah,
I don't know, Eddie. Are you tempted to see it?
No,
I didn't think so. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't mind these kind of movies. Like I love Lego Movie. I think that is fucking brilliant.
Very
But
funny. Yep.
you know what's really put me off is what Ben's just said, actually, because I do not care for Mario. And every callback or link, I'll be like, oh, I don't care. Like, stop doing it.
Yes.
And Ben saying there's a lot makes me go, oh.
Oh, there's
I'll
a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And I almost think it's a focus of the film. And when you mentioned the Lego Movie there, that's got that thing behind the scenes, which is that real, like, cool hook thing to it.
Yes. Yeah.
I just think this was missing it, to be honest. It's not a bad film. It's not a bad film, and I'm glad I saw it. I understand where the critics highlight that this is not technically a good film by the components, but it doesn't. I don't know. Didn't seem to do it.
Shame. And not shame, obviously, it's huge in the sales, so...
yeah, smashing it. It's absolutely smashing it.
Yeah,
And I'll watch it
it's
again,
number
probably.
one in the world for an animated release as well now.
When it comes on Netflix or something, I'll watch it, so there we go. I heard an interesting point somewhere else, that when it actually comes to a streaming service like Netflix or something, it will be available on all other platforms apart from a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Nice. Shall I go next?
Why
Yeah,
not?
go for it, yeah.
Cool. I have been playing, and I've been playing this for actually a few weeks, but I've been loving it so much, is Starbound. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, only from you, but many, many times in the last few weeks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's from Chucklefish. They're the developer and publisher. It came out in July 2016, so it's a little bit of an old game. But lucky the looks means that makes no difference. It looks exactly like Terraria. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
I do, yeah.
Well,
Wow, that is
You got
quite
the name right. You usually call it...
no, don't say usually. Literally 2 weeks ago, I said Terraria because I was saying it quickly.
Usually, you say
every
Terrera.
time, 100% of the time, you say Terraria.
Each and every time you've referred to it previously. You call it
Fuck my life. So yeah, it's Terraria, but they're in space, I guess. It's quite easy to say. Yeah, so it's like really pixelated, but it looks fine. The UI is actually quite nice and like gamey. The atmosphere of the game is beautiful. But what kind of game is it? I guess it's like it's a sideways scrolling but open world adventure game. But it's got loads of different mechanics that make it a forever game. Yeah, I'm not making a lot of sense here, am I? So basically, you have a ship that you were given when your people get attacked and blah, blah, blah. You have a ship, and it's all about like getting these gems and finding out how to help this old lady defend the world, basically. So I guess it is a story-driven game, but very quickly you learn that there's loads of things that you want and can do. For example, there's a whole tenant system. So like building houses and renting it out to people system. Where
It's a landlord simulator.
no, because it's one of those games that is focused on combat and going to places and killing people and doing these sort of things. But for me, it's very much a landlord simulator. Absolutely, 100%. I like the tenant system's so deep. So like you've got all these different kinds of people that you can spawn into your houses by putting certain types of furniture in them. So, for example, if you put like an alien lamp in it, then it might spawn a certain type of alien. If you put in like spears, then it might do the aggressive aliens that come down. If you put like chef stuff, like a fridge in there, it might be a chef that comes down, like a human chef or an alien chef, whatever. Same with like warriors. If you put certain things, and those warriors might help defend the local area. You might put in like shop counters or certain things that spawn in merchants. So they obviously sell you all sorts of goods and whatnot. If you do different types of aliens, they sell you different things. And all these people give you rent money, which obviously you can then go off and buy better equipment and, upgrades and all these sort of things. So that for me is what this game is. I think I've done with the main mission in my hundreds of hours. Well, some might say 1,000 hours. I have done like 5 main story missions. There's loads of side quests, of course. Side quests are quite cool as well because if you help people enough, they actually ask to join your crew on your ship up in the sky, which is really cool because once you get more people on your ship, more crew members, those crew members, by the way, all have their own like little types of upgrades that help your ship. But also it means you can expand your ship to make it bigger. The crafting system is fantastic. There's loads of different types of things, like building, almost buildings, not buildings, but you know what I mean, things that you build that get you better things and whatnot. So there really is, like, there is grind. You can, like, you know, you need certain materials and whatnot, but it's one of those good grinds. One of those grinds where you're grinding because you go, I'm going to get something really cool in about 3 hours because of all this. There's also other really cool things, like you capture pets. You literally catch pets like Pokemon balls. You buy balls. I can't remember what they're called. They're like capture balls. And you literally weaken that enemy, just like Pokemon, and then you throw the ball at them and capture them. And then they're your pet, which, guess what? You throw your ball, and then that pet comes out and obviously helps defend and attack. So there's that cool thing that you want the best pet or the stronger or maybe the aggressive one. Maybe something that fires from range. Yes, Ben. Yeah.
Like Pokemon?
Like Pokemon. There you go.
Wow.
My God.
I'm all in.
There's a really cool system with you've got your left hand and your right hand, but it's so well done that you've got like 6 slots above you. All you need to do is click obviously 1 to 6, and it will go to that left and right in your hand. And that's really, really cool because there's loads of cool things with it. So you've got your shields, you've got your melee weapons, you've got your wands, you've got guns. You've got all these sort of things, and obviously like healing equipment with certain things, buffs, all these sort of things. So you've got all these numbers here, and it's good to quickly chop and change. I've never really seen it better in any other RPG kind of game. So that's really, really cool. There is a shame that there's a silly little mechanic. You can steal anything from anyone's house. And that's really shit. And I don't think I've experienced this in many other games, but it's really shit because all these buildings have loads of like chests and cupboards and all these things. So I spend sometimes in an evening, I'll come across a village and I'll just spend the whole evening taking stuff from their houses. And it just gets so fucking boring. But then, of course, if I don't and I just walk past the house, I go, what happens if there was good loot in that building, Eddie?
Yeah.
And then I go back and I fucking loot. Yeah, but you know what's cool about it is the worlds that you go down. So there's the whole solar system. You go to different stars. Each star has different kind of planets around. Every planet you can go on. Every moon you can go on. Every asteroid belt to mine. All these sorts of things. Really cool. And what's really cool is the worlds are all circular. So if I keep my finger on the right button, I will eventually, after probably 10 minutes, I will come right round the world to the spot that I started in, which is quite really cool actually, because it means you fully explore a world. Don't get me wrong, that world will have loads of villages and caves and stuff to go into, which is quite cool. But yeah, anyway, it's good for a completist like me. A few of the cool mechanics as well that this game has that I don't recognise in many other games. The camera is brilliant. So it's one of those. You need to look left and right. Like the Ascent did. I think the Ascent did it really badly. But sometimes you just want to look left.
I'm sorry,
and right.
What?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I spoke poorly of the Ascent. But hear me out with this. If you just press Control and like look right or look left, it'll pan all the way over to that side of the screen. And that's really cool with a game like this, because sometimes there will be like a big enemy that's really far away, that's a melee type, and you've got, a rocket launcher, so you need to look fast. So that's really cool. A lot of this, like Starbound, is underground, going into your caves, and it's pitch black. And what's really cool is, don't get me wrong, you can get flashlights and stuff, but that'll take up a slot. What's really cool that I like is the weapons will light up. So if you're looking like a laser weapon, it shoots through the tunnel, and I bet a lot of people do that, and it makes it really cool and atmospheric and sometimes scary. that you're going through these caves and you're using your weapon to actually see where the fuck to go, and you see loads of enemies jump up on you. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it because I could talk about this game for hours.
It sounds brilliant. What's the goal of the game though? What is the?
I guess it's a story game, Ben. I guess
a story game.
The idea of the game is to find out who these people are that have just wiped out your federation, and I assume go and kill them. But the problem is it's got so many good side hooks. Like, I spent about 3 evenings building up enough money to buy a car. Like, it's called a hover car. And now I just drive around in a fucking hover car throwing my Pokemon at people. I watched a video and it went, did you know that if you build houses for people on more dangerous planets, then they sell you better loot and they give you more rent? I'm like, right, that's the next week. I'm going to spend 5 days building houses on fucking moons and lava planets just so I can get a bit of extra rent money. Yeah,
this game sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Everything about it sounds really good, and then I remember it looks like Terraria.
Yeah,
I don't mind the look of Terraria, and I quite like the look of this. It's 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Is it?
That's always a good sign. Yeah.
Has it got Metacritic? Is it big enough to be on Metacritic?
Well, let's have a look.
81. That's great.
There you go.
81. Okay. That's
great.
Not bad. Yeah,
and a Zelda-esque story.
That's what
it says. Zelda-esque story RPG.
Yeah, it's a perfect game for if you're a gamer like me who likes to have an aim but also loads of side quests and side arcs that make you do something for hours upon end. I could not recommend this game highly enough. I really couldn't. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the only downfall is the visuals. Apparently, looking at RimWorld, and of course Mount and Blade, the first one, apparently visuals don't matter to me if the game play is fantastic. And I think that sums it up well with this game.
Yeah. Well, it's on Xbox as well as PC.
Oh, is it? Oh, lovely.
Yes, I think that's what. I think it's $11.99 to buy on the Xbox store. So, yeah, if anybody's interested and they don't have a PC, then yeah, it's.
It's also cheap as shit coming out. Full price. I think it's £12, so you can get it for cheap as shit.
See, somebody says here, my boyfriend recommended this game to me since it's one of his favourites, and let me tell you, that's what they've written. Lemmy. This game is actually so amazing. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Big praise from a positive review.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice one, Eddie. That's cool. Another one of Eddie's real deals. One topical one. I played the PGA Tour 2023 game. That's just come out. It's on. If you've got Game Pass Ultimate, you have EA Play. You can get 10 hours of this game. The way I got it, which is quite confusing. I think, Eddie, you found it quite confusing to download it as well. Yeah, I went onto the Xbox Store, the Microsoft Store on the Xbox, and typed in EA PGA Tour 2023, and then you can click on Get Free Trial. That's how I managed to get it, because I couldn't find it on Game Pass, even though I thought it would. Maybe because it's not the full game, maybe because you don't have more than 10 hours, it's not on there, whatever. But you can get it, you can get 10 hours. And that is more than enough, obviously, to find out whether you like the look of it, how it plays, the RPG mechanics, all that kind of stuff. So, but a couple points on it, because I've only done a round or so. I did Augusta, obviously, because it was the Masters this weekend. I was Scheffler. So presentation.
Why are you Scheffler? Be someone more entertaining.
That is an odd choice. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
No, it's not. My reasoning was this: that I wanted to be the best golfer on the game to just be able to get to use the mechanics. And Scheffler's the top ranked, obviously, because he's top couple in the world, and they only have. I didn't count them, but I would guess 20 golfers. Now, I'm not sure if any more unlock or if they're going to add any more. I don't know. So to say that that's absolute, I don't know. But they have about 20, which is quite disappointing, I thought, because they have men and women, but I don't think it was equal. I think it was like 5 or 6 women. And the men, it seemed they had like Scheffler, they had like DeChambeau, and but they missed like huge names like John Rahm isn't there, etc. So Yeah, like most of the Rory's not on it.
Okay. I'm guessing then possibly it's the PGA Tour members, not the ones who are like linked through the European Tour.
Well, but Rory's not there, so
yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. So I don't know how they've come about to get the players that they have on there. But graphically, it's really the actual like golf courses, and I think it looks really. The presentation is top notch. If you were watching the Masters at the weekend, sorry if you're not into golf, then
golf
probably
game's not for you.
Probably,
yeah.
No, your golf is not for you. This probably isn't for you. But the coverage of the Masters when you have all the branding and everything, it's identical because they've just got the licenses for it and everything. The commentary's fantastic as well, but it just looks brilliant. Now, I went over to Eddie's last night and you showed me the 2K game that you play. And it was like striking the difference. Oh my God, this looks like... I remember that game that you play, Eddie, and I thought, nice, and I used to like it. I was playing on the Switch, so... probably always is going to look nice. Yeah, it's probably always going to look nice on that little OLED screen. But this game is worlds apart in graphically. The character models like Scotty Scheffler did look a bit odd, not going to lie, but we'll give him a pass on that. They've got a different mechanic to this. The main thing with a golf game is feedback from your swing and whether that works and whether it feels good. The mechanic in this appears to be that you are watching the swing, and on the swing there is a marker that says where you have to go up to on the swing. So it's not, and you basically pull back the swing and let go, and I assume it's different for every golfer, where you have to let go at a particular around the moment, and then it'll carry on a little bit more and get to the actual mark, and then you go forward on your swing. Now, I found it incredibly hard to hit that mark. Really, really difficult, which made it not very precise. Now, this could mean that it's excellent because it means that, it takes you tens of hours to really dial it in. And, your player that you create at the start, he's got really shit stats. He or she has got really shit stats. And it's like an RPG mechanic. I think you do the career mode and they start like 62 rating, and Scotty Scheffler's like a 92. And, I love that. That's what they didn't have in the 2K games. They didn't have that. It was
what was missing since PGA Tour, the Tiger Woods ones.
Yeah.
And this is so much more like the old EA games, even to the extent that when the ball's in the air, you tap A to put spin on the ball.
I know, I couldn't believe when you said that.
Yeah,
It's shit.
But I love it. I love it. That's like the old Tiger Woods games. That's how we grew up with golf games, and they were brilliant for it. The 2K games that have come out, the two things that I didn't like about them were they had other golfers in there, but you couldn't beat them, so you could only be your own golfer, and there were no RPG mechanics. It was just that you could buy different clubs to put in your bag, and the different clubs were just literally different stat. It wasn't like, oh, I'm now upgrading my driver to this thing over here. It's just like, it's a different driver. I'm choosing to have the Callaway Paradigm or something like that. I'm just choosing a different brand of driver. So this I like so much more because it's like career progression, my stats getting better. That really provides something. I honestly don't know, Eddie, how you've put in 220 hours to a game where the only progression is you just literally getting better.
You know what it was? It was the fact that I'd never won until 2 weeks ago. I had never won the FedEx Cup. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I would have died for death a long time ago.
So I'm really interested for you to play this, Eddie, because you're really in tune with the golf games, and actually because I found the swing mechanic was fine on big swings, but on chipping, I found that it was a bit touch and go, and it didn't always register and stuff. And it could just be me, and it could be something that you get used to, and it could be something that you really dial in. I can't imagine that they've released a game where the swing is not precise, or you can't get it really precise with skill. Yeah. Because that would defeat the whole object.
Yes.
However, it is possible they have focused so much on presentation that the gameplay may be lacking. So I haven't seen any reviews of this. I'm interested to see reviews. I'm more interested in probably seeing what you think, Eddie, on it. And Pete, you've played a lot of golf games as well, so it's free. Interested for you guys to try it.
Yeah, I've pre-installed it, so I'm definitely gonna. Well, pre-installed it. I've installed it. So yeah, definitely gonna give it a try. Probably this week.
Yeah, cool.
I will actually do so as well, I think.
Yeah, well, I look forward to next week. Hear what you think about it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, and that ties in so nicely with the Masters over the weekend, doesn't it?
Oh, it did, yeah.
It did, yeah. And obviously, with regard to the Easter weekend, and Eddie, your friend's question about games, we bring on to our feature, don't we?
Woo!
Yeah. And of course, it's occurred to us for quite some time, and I think we mentioned it, that not everyone else has the amount of time for gaming that we do. Unfortunate souls that they are.
Don't tell my girlfriend that. She thinks what our relationship is normal. So do not open those curtains. Else I'm in trouble.
Can opened, worms everywhere. Okay, right. But yes, we are aware that then parents and families, let's just go that way. Parents and families don't have as much time as we do for it.
Yeah.
All those in monogamous relationships obviously do, yes. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. But it made us think that we've got to know some good jump-in games that people can play, that you can achieve something in 20 minutes, half an hour, and that some of these games they may not have tried and possibly should.
Yeah.
So we've all brought a few to the table, and hopefully we've got a decent selection across genres as well. So Ben, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, the drop-in games for me are like almost epitomised with roguelikes. So games like, and I thought Hades was fantastic for this because a full run of Hades, even if you got to the final boss and beat it, Pete, how long would you say a full run of Hades was?
Oh God,
Probably only half an hour, right?
Yeah, probably half an hour.
Now that means most runs, especially early on in the game, are far less than that. So 15-minute runs, 10-minute runs. It's a really good drop in, drop out game.
Definitely.
Especially if you've got something like the Switch where you can just press the button and it turns it off, and then you can bring it back in the exact same place. But this applies to any kind of roguelike, even if you played Hades, like Binding of Isaac or Dead Cells, or the one recently that springs to mind, which people may have forgotten about by now, is Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, great shout! Yeah,
because it's got more to it as well, with the like almost basic base building mechanic and the followers. It's got a little bit of busy work put in on it as well. So Cult of the Lamb is an excellent jump-in game if you don't have that much time and but you do want a fairly modern game that people have been talking about forever, then yeah, reasonably priced Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah. And they're really good for being episodic. Hades in particular, you get different changes after each run, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So different story beats. And I don't know if Cult of the Lamb's similar, but most of them have a sort of home base area where things change. So
yeah, well, you're developing Cult of the Lamb. You're developing that base area, aren't they? You're making your own base. So yeah,
definitely. And I mean, I would have said Hades myself as a very good option if you hadn't brought it to the table. I would, by the way, also like to just add in a lot of MMOs are also decent bets. Obviously, for me, Warcraft comes to mind, and the reason for this is 99% of that content you can access in tiny bite-sized chunks. Even someone like me who actually plays it, most of my logins are 20 minutes. Just do a couple things, do a few bits, maybe level someone, and then jump off again. It's only raiding, really, that takes any longer than that, or that you can't walk away from at any moment.
Yeah.
The rest of that game, and all of them, I mean, think of things like, what's the Star Wars one? Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
Or Elder Scrolls Online. They are huge.
Or Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these are huge games with loads of content, but you don't have to be in it for more than half an hour at a time to enjoy yourself.
I tell you what, Pete, I tell you who is into World of Warcraft now, and that's John, friend of the show, John. He messaged me and he said that he started playing World of Warcraft and he absolutely adores it. So.
Excellent choice, John. Well done. It's a phenomenal game. I mean, there's a reason it's literally been one of the most popular games.
The reason it's what, the biggest game in the world? Or?
Yeah, for 2 decades it's dominated everything. But yes.
It's not as good as eFootball.
Yeah, but oh my God. But I will even say, like, even within the social scene in the game, there are groups of guilds that are catering to the people who only have that kind of time and who will build around it. It's amazing what kind of adaptations the ecosystem has.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. What about you, Eddie? What would you go to as your first choice?
Oh, as my first choice. Oh, I didn't do it like that. Well, I guess I am going to stick to it. So I've broken it into 4 categories, and I think the number one is probably the biggest one. Is for casual gamers, as I would say, and that is for whatever sport you're into. Only because selfishly, whenever I'm really into a sport, I play a game and I really, really enjoy it. And the thing with sporting games, you really can jump in and jump out. So in the past for me, it's obviously been FIFA. That's a big one for me. And it's just jumping on, playing 10 minutes of one game. And then when you get back to it, I love that obviously you're thinking about it when you're not playing computer, when you're actually having quality time with your partner, then you're still thinking about it in the back of your head. For me, it's the golf games. It really is. I even if like on my lunch break, I'm like, oh, I finished my food, I've got 20 minutes. I just literally jump on, I play a round of golf, and then I leave. And don't get me wrong, I think about it. I go, oh, I think I did quite well there, and maybe I'll qualify for the cut. And I love that. You can just jump in, you can jump out. You have a great time when you do it. Yeah, I think it helps if you're into that sport. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, I used to play NFL games back in the day, and I used to love them. So, yeah, a sport game basically.
I hear you on that, and actually, I'd add Rocket League in there. By the way.
It's not something I've done in real life, but
yeah, exactly. So I jumped on this morning just to do a bit of it while I was on the exercise bike, and it is just a really good one to drop in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those sport games, or similar, as if Rocket League was a sport, are very good for that sort of thing. But I'm sensing a bit of a theme in all of these games, which I think is probably the key sort of crux of the issue, isn't it? Which is they're larger games where you can jump in for a small point in time. Like they're not the old school sort of level games where you could log in, just play one level and log out again. They're much bigger and possibly more off-putting, particularly the MMOs, but also a lot of the survival games, and even some things like Hades where you have to play it on repeat, you know?
Yes.
But all of them are great for setting your own objective and just deciding, I'm going to jump in and just do this. And
that's it. Yeah, they're the things that keep you going. I like games that you think about in the background, like, oh, I'd love to log on and do this thing. Like, exactly and you create a little plan for the evening or for the half an hour or whatever you've got.
Exactly that. Yeah, and I know one of your other suggestions here, Ben. Forgive me for stealing it from your list. Is Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
like that's another one where you just do a run, isn't it? Essentially.
Well, yeah. Now the brilliant thing about those games, I'll group 2 together here. So I've got written down here Diablo Immortal and Vampire Survivors. The reason I've put those in is Diablo Immortal is free to play. Vampire Survivors, I think, is tuppence, and they're both on mobile. Yeah. So you can play them on the go. You can play them if you're going out. You can whatever, and they're so easy just to load up on your phone. You can play them on other things. Diablo Immortal you can also play on PC if you want it to be a bit more robust. You can play it with a controller or whatever on your phone. Vampire Survivors is now on everything. But what they are games that Diablo Immortal, especially because it's a slightly watered down version of Diablo, but it is also a hybrid moving over to Diablo 4 in terms of testing out a little bit of the MMO stuff. There's a bit of story. It's just, it's a bit mindless, but once you get into the end game as well, it's just doing your dailies and stuff like that. It's just stuff that, let's say, I always think of these types of games as like games that'd be amazing if you've just have a kid or something like that, like where you can just dip in, and it's the middle of the night and you've got to be, up or whatever, and you've got to be sitting down with the child. These are the types of games that you just play on your phone or something, aren't they? That you just dip into. And I think they're amazing for that. Vampire Survivors is definitely that, because it's incredibly like Moorish. You want to have it's sort of the one more run thing. And there's a vast variety of things that you can do on it. Different types of runs, different characters, all that type of stuff, different weapons. And it's easy to get into. So's Diablo, I would say, is a franchise, and I know Eddie's played a couple of hours of it recently because we suggested it to him. Diablo is one of those franchises which is the later games, 3 and Immortal, are incredibly easy to get into. Really, really simple. The concept is simple, and it's not one to be put off by. that's I think what's important of a jump in, jump out game, where they are incredibly deep if you want them to be, but they're also just ones where you can just do your own little tasks.
Yes, massively. And actually, for the last of mine, I'm going to go a little bit left field. And this is based purely on actual life experience, because one of my old managers used to do this with Medieval 2 Total War. Right? Which you might think is a game that you need a long period of time for, but this guy, the only time he ever got to game was his lunch hour at work, and he used to bring in an old laptop with Medieval 2 on it for this purpose. He's like early 40s, 3 young kids. He's not getting time at home. So he used to bring this laptop in at lunch and play Medieval Total War 2. And he just set himself a little objective of like, I'm going to capture this place, or I'm going to get this guy a bit better as a general, or I'm just going to fight a custom battle. And he would just play it through. And I think the older ones that still hold up, like Medieval 2, like the first Rome then, are really good for that, because they load quickly. They haven't got the insanely long
100%,
end turns. They aren't massive file
they're more
sizes.
basic as well.
Yeah, and you can either just play a custom battle, which will take you 10 to 20 minutes, or jump into a campaign. It will load quickly and play a few years, and it will be quick.
Yes.
And I think they're an excellent choice for that.
I mean,
absolutely.
Choice of game, yeah. So.
That too, yes. Fantastic choice of game as well. Any more? Any more?
Yeah, I've got a couple more. I know that there's a lot of RPGers out there, and my only recommendation for that is got to be the Baldur's Gate series. I know RPGs are obviously so focused on story, so therefore it's not exactly jump in, jump out. But I think Baldur's Gate does it brilliantly. The main story is always quite simple in all of them. And they have like this quest tab that keeps track of not only all past things that have happened in that quest, but obviously where you need to go, what you need to do. So it's really, they do it brilliantly. I mean, I think we all agree that Baldur's Gate is probably some of the best of that kind of game.
It's up there for sure.
Yeah, up there with maybe Divinity and whatnot. But I highly recommend that if you're only an RPG and you have time to jump in and out. But I'm going to finish mine with management games. Even when I lived abroad, as I said, and I never got to play games really, the management games are brilliant. You just jump on, you jump off. Obviously, what I talked about just now, actually, Starbound, brilliant game.
Yeah,
because you know when you're not playing games, you look up how to do this, how to get this tenant, how to get this Pokemon, and all these sort of things. Same with RimWorld. Obviously, I couldn't go a whole episode without bringing up RimWorld as one of the best games of all time. A brilliant game, just to jump on, do your thing. Oh, the missus is calling, the kid's crying, whatever. Jump back off, it's fine. You save it, you delete it, you save it, shut it down, and you know exactly when you load up, yeah, I'm at this part, this is exactly what I need to do. Yeah, management games, sim games, brilliant games, just jumping on and off, and of course, the best is RimWorld. So,
I think with these types of, like, we all go through periods of having limited time to game. Yeah. Or even when you're in gaming limbo between games and you don't even know what to play, and you default to the games that you know and love, and you can just tell from the selection that we put up here, you're just defaulting to your games that you like. Pete's playing MMOs, Eddie's playing management survival games. Yeah. I'm playing ones with the continuous loop of Halo, of Hades, Diablo, that type of stuff. So you default to what you know and love in those positions. But it's surprising how many games can be 20-minute sessions.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Surprising.
And in almost any genre, you can find one at least that will fit the bill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I really hated? Do you know what I really hated? So to against that is, when I was going through a long period of not being able to play, I loved Blood Bowl. Loved it. I was addicted. But every game took 40 minutes, and I timed it. It took 40 minutes. And there's nothing more frustrating. I hope that the new one, Blood Bowl 3, has a mechanic where you can save halfway through a game. Because the amount of games, I'd be quite close to the end, and I'd physically have to shut down my computer, and I nearly cried. Every time. If I had a kid, I'd just let that kid cry for the next 10 minutes, I think. Says a lot about my parenting skills, but...
Right.
Your hypothetical parenting skills, yes.
Never have kids, Chris. Never have kids.
Definitely true. Either way, if anyone thought we'd missed any very obvious ones, or wanted to let us know ones they've tried, how would they do so, Ben?
Email us podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk and tweet us at grumpygamerspod.
Oh, we did the socials this week. Nice.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, we decided to do them this week.
I had a segue into them this time, so they didn't have to just fall on the floor immediately.
Right. Nice.
But otherwise, for this week, it is GG.
GG.
GG.